Hey, this is WWE superstar always ready, Matt Cardona, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
His opponent from Long Island, New York, weighing in at 230 pounds, Matt Cardona!
Galactic Star Cruiser.
That's right.
You have that on me.
Yeah.
I never went.
I went, yeah.
You went.
One of the greatest experiences ever. But you have to start with A New Hope. Like, you can't, how can that be not your number one? Because without that, there's nothing else.
Here is your winner, Matt Cardona!
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
So as many of you listening know, Mason and I went to the Hollywood premiere of The Mandalorian and Grogu. One of our hopes for the experience, if it was even possible, was to meet a WWE superstar. Of course, we love Star Wars, but WWE is something that our family has been enjoying. And we look up at this premiere, and who do we see but Matt Cardona and his wife, Chelsea Green. We could not believe it. We ran right up to Matt. It was, of course, great as expected. And now we get to have Matt on Coffee with Kenobi. Matt, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I have some coffee. I'm always ready.
Love it.
I wanted to show off a bit my Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser exclusive mug.
Yes, I recognize that mug. I heard you on with Cody on Cody's show, and I thought, okay, Matt would be perfect for the show because we're into the same stuff. Theme park, Star Wars, you name it. I went on the Halcyon. Absolutely loved it. Tell me what you thought about the Halcyon.
I loved it. I went on one time. I loved it so much. And just by chance, like the week after, maybe 2 weeks after, is when they announced it was closed, and then everything booked up and I couldn't get to go on again.
Oh,
but I'm glad I got
30th.
to experience it once, you know?
Yes. What do you remember what path you picked as you went through everything?
Oh man, I was so confused with the gameplay. I don't know what path I picked. I remember being so mad at Chelsea because she saw Rey, and I must have went to the restroom. She saw Rey and just took a selfie with her instead of following her. Like we could have went that way, with Rey. But no, it was a great time. I wish it was still there, but I understand why it didn't work. I think it was just, first of all, it was very expensive, right? But I think it was worth the price. But I think people were they weren't being sold a Star Wars 2-day experience. Like, oh, Star Wars hotel. This wasn't a Star Wars hotel. I mean, yes, you were sleeping there, right? You weren't paying to be in a Star Wars hotel. You were paying to live in Star Wars for 2 days.
Yes. Those rooms and then the windows that were there, and you could stay up all night and just never see the same thing twice.
Oh, it was unbelievable. It was so immersive. I know there's like a 3-hour long video with everything that was wrong with it.
Oh boy, yes, I know.
I'm not saying it was perfect by any means, but
no.
As a Star Wars fan, I loved it, and Chelsea is not a Star Wars fan, and she enjoyed it as well.
You know what? My wife, same way. She's not a big Star Wars fan. She supports, my habit. As you know, obviously you're well aware of with the action figure situation like I have. But she had a great time. I tell people it was a premium level experience for a premium price.
Absolutely. And I wish, I wish it wasn't closed. I wish maybe they could have, reformatted things. Maybe original trilogy would have done better. Who knows?
Yes, I agree with that. Well, speaking of the original trilogy, talk to us kind of about your foray into Star Wars. How did you first become a fan of the Star Wars franchise?
So, I was born in 1985, so I missed all the originals in the theater. And I knew what Star Wars was. My uncle had some of his old toys that I'd play with. It was at my grandparents' house. But it wasn't until right before the special editions in the mid-90s that they put out that VHS 3-pack.
Yep.
And, with the George Lucas interviews before each one. And watching those, that was my first true introduction to Star Wars. The Kenner Power of the Force figures had just come out. Mm-hmm. So it was the VHSs, the Power of the Force figures, and the special editions in theater. That's what got me hooked.
That they're seeing it again. I think that was 1997, and seeing it again on the big screen or for your first time, it brought in a whole new generation of fans. So all you know is basically the special edition. I'm assuming you've seen the original cuts.
Yeah, I've seen the original cuts, but the special editions, like were the ones I saw in the theaters.
Right. So did Han shoot first? How do you feel about that? That's kind of an old debate.
I feel like he did shoot first. In my mind, he did.
Absolutely. It sets up more of that kind of that gunslinger mentality. Is there a particular character in Star Wars that you love the most?
Han Solo for sure. He was just a cool, he wasn't like in wrestling terms, he wasn't this he wasn't like a John Cena, he was almost like a Steve Austin.
Right.
So he still had some bad boy tendencies, but he was a good guy at heart.
I love that. Well, where would Matt Cardona fit in the Star Wars litmus test? What character would he be mostly aligned with?
Oh, I think
you got to be a
Han
Jedi.
Solo. Yeah, you think so, huh? Well, hey, if I got a purple lightsaber, like Mace Windu, I'm in.
I think that would be good because you're standing up. Before I forget, I'm all over the place, but I'm thrilled to have you on. My son Mason, who you met, wanted me to ask you what it feels like to take an RKO.
It does not feel good. It's great, like for awareness of who you are, because everyone's watching Randy Orton. They want to see that RKO out of nowhere, but it's not fun to be on the receiving end. That's for sure.
I will take your word for that, my friend. So Han Solo, definitely. Did you like the Solo film?
I did, and I wish it did better at the box office. I wish we would have got more of those, but I enjoyed it.
Same. I thought it was great. I thought Alden Ehrenreich was a fantastic substitute. I mean, there's no substitute for Harrison Ford.
Absolutely.
But he channeled that inner swagger. You know what I mean? They kind of brought that character to life.
I agree. Yeah, I was a fan of it. I love Han Solo so much. I even have a Han Solo life-size in carbonite in my house.
Oh, do you really? Is it the
Chelsea,
sideshow one?
The sideshow, yeah. Chelsea does not like that.
Chelsea think?
She does not like that.
Oh, that to me, that is like, you get that, you are all set. So again, theme parks. I believe you are a Floridian. Is that correct?
I moved from New York to Orlando 10 years ago. I love it here.
Wow. So you get to, I know you got to experience, if you're not following Matt Cardona on Instagram, be sure to do that, everyone. But I saw that you two got to go and experience the new Rock and Roller Coaster, but the Muppets edition. What was that like?
I liked it. I was a huge fan of the Aerosmith version of Rock and Roller Coaster, and I was a huge fan of the Muppet 3D. So the fact that it's kind of like a mashup of that, I was a big fan. I bought all the merch.
I sent you a message about this on Instagram, but I worked on a Disney college program. And when the first time I worked there, they were building the Rock and Roller Coaster. So I'm working up at Mickey's of Hollywood in the front of the park. And someone taps me on the shoulder and he said, "Hey, do you know where the Mickey Mouse patches are?" And I said, "Yeah, hold on." So I turned around. It was Joe Perry.
Wow. You never know who's going to be at Disney World.
It's true. He had a stroller with one of his kids, and I'm like, "Here you go." And you have to act really cool, like that. It must be tricky for you when you go to the parks. Do people come up and ask for pictures and talk to you all the time?
It's not so bad. Like, for instance, Chelsea and I, we just went and we went with my parents, and my dad wanted to keep a tally of how many times we got stopped. It was like 15 times over an 8-hour day. So it's not bad at all. If I was walking around the park oiled up in my wrestling trunks with my hair all spiked up, might be a different story. But I go, right. I'm just a regular dude wearing a hat, a Disney t-shirt, so I kind of blend in.
Absolutely. Well, you're probably in a lot better shape than a lot of us walk in the parks, I would assume.
Maybe. I'll tell you what, though, when I go to Disney, I have no diet and no budget. I'll eat whatever. Sticky ice cream bars, churros. I'll eat whatever, and I'll buy a lot of merch, especially if it's Star Wars merch.
Yeah. Well, so you showed me that really awesome coffee mug. When Galaxy's Edge opened, there was so much new stuff because the entire premise was that you're supposed to feel like this is the kind of stuff that people would buy in the Star Wars universe, the kind of merchandise. Did you go crazy when you first went there and looked at all the cool things? Lightsabers, legacy lightsabers?
Yeah, so we built the lightsaber. We did that. I'm a big mug guy, so I got the mug. I got the Rise of the Resistance ride vehicle, but I had to be very selective with the merch because I have too much stuff. I'm a huge collector, but even I know that I can't buy everything, especially Star Wars. You really got to be specific because there's just so much merch, and it never stops, and it never will.
Right. No, it never will. There's a lot of cool stuff. It's almost like you have to narrow down. Hey, I'm only going to collect Millennium Falcons, although that's a whole thing into itself. I'm only going to collect the Power of the Force line or just stuff from Hoth, something like that, because there's so much to choose from.
Right. So like right now I'm in we just moved recently and I built a new toy room and I have these custom built cabinets in there and every cabinet has a theme. So for instance, my Star Wars case, I have to you can't put every single Star Wars figure, not even every single Star Wars line. So I have to cut my entire vintage collection. I said, see you later. I just don't have the real estate for everything, so I'm looking at it right now. I do have the original figures, even though I wasn't alive for them. You have to have the classics, right? So I have those, the Power of the Force from the 90s. Like I said, that's my introduction to Star Wars. So I have a lot of nostalgia and sentimental feelings to those. The Black Series figures, I love those. So I have to be very, very selective.
It becomes a matter of quality, not quantity. I stopped kind of buying the 3 3/4 inch figures because, like you, I've got the originals. If I was in my normal studio, I could show you; they'd be behind me. But then I love the retro line. The Black Series, though, that's clearly where a lot of fandom is at because the detail on that is unparalleled.
I also love the Black Series because it's a modern figure, so it's in scale with pretty whether it be the NECA Ninja Turtles or the Mattel WWE, so they're all kind of in the same universe.
Right. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so you could put Hulk Hogan next to Darth Vader.
100%.
I love that. When it comes to the movies, it's sort of hard to rank your favorites, so that'd be fun to just kind of go through all those at some point. But what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
I mean, I get asked this all the time. I always say that, in my opinion, everyone's favorite has to be A New Hope, because without A New Hope, there's nothing. So I think that's got to be like a default number one. And this might be controversial, but my second favorite is Force Awakens.
Oh, wow. Tell me why.
To this day, I loved it. I loved the hype building up to it. I thought it in my opinion, overexceeded my expectations. There's a lot of cool merch, so I think I got a lot of people back into Star Wars. It got me into the Black Series because I was not collecting the Black Series until the Force Awakens figures came out. I said, these are too damn cool. I got to go back, go on eBay and get the rest of them. But I'm all for, things need to evolve. Things need to move on. It's like wrestling. We can't just pretend it's the Attitude Era, every single year. We need to build new stars, right?
Right.
So I felt like The Force Awakens was paying, tribute to the past. Of course, Han was in it, Leia, Luke, but also building new stars, Rey, Poe,
Right. Absolutely. And I think The Force Awakens, it seems like people just sort of, I agree it's a little underrated because it's really beautifully done because it does manage to mix the old and the new a lot more effectively than I think a lot of other franchises do. But you're right. You acknowledge the past, but you have to continue to grow and adapt to the times.
100%. Now, if we're talking about episode 8 and 9, not my favorites. Not at the top of the list.
See, I would say I think episode 8 is probably the best made and structured Star Wars film. I don't know if I told you, but my day job, I'm a high school English teacher. So I follow the structure of that, and it's pretty beautiful. The Rise of Skywalker, as I've said many times over 13 plus years of Coffee with Kenobi, that's kind of a mess. It didn't really have a lot going on. And I wish that everyone would have gotten together and realized, hey, let's make this prequel trilogy. Let's make it all make sense as 3 movies. But I feel like that was missed.
I absolutely agree. And that's my problem with episode 8. So the end of Force Awakens, that scene with Rey with her hand out with the lightsaber to Luke. And it's that 360 shot. I have goosebumps right now thinking about it.
Yeah.
Then you wait a couple years for the next movie to come out. It starts with that scene and Luke just throws the lightsaber away. It was like a spit in the face to that whole movie,
Yes.
And then I feel like episode 9 is trying to undo episode 8. So like you said, it's just like a mess.
It's always the thing, but what I'm interested in, when I first started teaching, everything was about the prequels and the Clone Wars, because that's where students were at, right? I've been teaching for 20 years. And a lot of those students hadn't watched the OT. But now it's all about the Mandalorian, and it's all about the sequel film. So it'll be interesting to see how those things age, because I feel like, and I think you'll probably agree, the prequels aged pretty well.
They did. And, they got a lot of hate when they first came out. And now a lot of love. I'm so happy for Hayden Christensen to be able to be, like beloved after all these years. He deserves it.
I agree.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are with Dan Z, the podcast you're looking for. This is
Matt, I know your time is very limited, so we'll let you go. Please let everybody know where they can find you. I didn't even begin to tap into your incredible body of work as a professional wrestler and an indie god, as they say online. You've done it all. I mean, and obviously people listening, Matt has his own podcast. He's an avid action figure collector. His social media is a must follow. Please let everybody know what's going on in the world of Matt Cardona.
Well, obviously, I'm a WWE superstar, so watch me every Friday on SmackDown. But yeah, I have a podcast, the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. It covers mostly wrestling figures, but we dabble into Star Wars every once in a while. And I have my own toy company, collectmajor.com. I got to plug that, so we make our own toys. At the end of the day, I'm just a big kid living the dream, whether it be going to theme parks or wrestling or being married to a WWE superstar, a hot WWE superstar. Like, I'm just living the dream.
Oh, gosh. Absolutely. Well, I can't thank you enough, Matt, for coming on the show. I was thrilled to meet you at the premiere, and love to have you on anytime in the future.
Let's do it again. Let's do it a long form for sure.
I love it. Wow, incredible. What a treat. I want to thank Matt Cardona for taking time to be on Coffee with Kenobi. And a very special thank you to WWE for helping to make this happen. Just like that, friends, our journey through the galaxy for today has come to a close. Thanks for listening to and supporting Coffee with Kenobi, where fans can come together to think, learn, and discuss this galaxy we all love. I'm truly grateful you chose to spend part of your day with me. Thank you to our official travel partner, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Looking to plan your next magical vacation to Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or even a Disney cruise? Want to explore Galaxy's Edge or attend Star Wars Celebration? Becky Mankin and her team will get you there with no cost, no obligation quotes, and the kind of peace of mind we all appreciate. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/mousefantravel. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with your fellow Star Wars friends. You can find us on social media or visit coffeewithkenobi.com for articles, merch, and more ways to connect. Until next time, I'm Dan Zayer, and this is the podcast you're looking for. For all things Star Wars, news, reviews, videos, and more, head to our home base, coffeewithkenobi.com. Don't forget to join the CWK Cafe on Facebook at coffeewithkenobi.com/community, our family-friendly, spoiler-free group for all your Star Wars thoughts, comments, and conversation. This podcast is possible thanks to the incredible support of the CWK Alliance. Want to help keep the show brewing? For as little as $1 a month, you can join the CWK Alliance and get access to CWK Pour-Over, our exclusive weekly audio and video podcast. Learn more at coffeewithkenobi.com/CWK Alliance. And know this, 10% of your monthly contributions goes directly to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Want to connect? You can email me at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com. Follow me on X at Mr. Zayer, MRZEHR, Instagram, Threads, at DanZareCWK, and Blue Sky. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can follow Coffee with Kenobi across social media on X, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, and Blue Sky, and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi. And if you want to send an email to the show, you can email us feedback at coffeewithkenobi.com. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find over 700 videos, including past live shows, events, and this podcast. please take a moment to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps more Star Wars fans find our little corner of the galaxy. Do you need a speaker for your next event? Visit danzymedia.com. I love to discuss mythology, leadership, storytelling, or create something tailored to your audience. And finally, grab your CWK gear at coffeewithkenobi.com/shop and show your support in style.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.